All right, all right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen. And as always, I'm definitely happy and grateful for all of you being here with us as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in this Forex market. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage as we close out the week. So if everybody can hear me loud and clear, do me a huge favor, drop me a one in the chat. Let me know you can hear me. Let me know you're ready to go. And we can get this session started. I appreciate it. Everybody can hear me. That's good. I had some technical difficulties. So that means I've got that worked out. All right. So let me make sure that everybody has access to their microphone. All right. As always, we ask, hey, do your best to keep your microphone on mute unless you're asking a question or making a comment out of respect for everyone else. Appreciate all of you being here. So let me close this out and we jump right over to the Forex factory. And we were all waiting today to see what was going to happen in regards to the main refinancing rate, okay, the interest rates for the ECB, and President Lagarde and the ECB held steady, right? The market was expecting 50 basis points. Things got a little iffy with the bank failures, but they held steadfast, 50 basis points. So they raised it from 3% to 3.5%. Because, right, for those of you who were able to check out a little bit of the press conference, hey, inflation is too high and it's projected to be too high for too long, right? Something that she spoke about today. And for central banks, their number one mandate is price stability, right? So not so much for holding the shareholders, but overall price stability in the best interest of the consumer. So still, they have to get inflation under control, okay? So 50 basis points, we'll see what happens going forward, right? So it's going to be data dependent, but it is their number one priority. So that was quite interesting to watch today. And for the US, right, the unemployment claims came in pretty good. Forecast was 205, came in under forecast at 192, which was positive for the dollar. So it'd be quite interesting to see what the Fed does. Definitely not thinking 50 basis points, but 25 basis points, at least at the next meeting. Some people were thinking, hey, the Fed will just hold rates, not hike rates at all. But coming after the ECB and considering what's going on, I think 25 basis points is still going to be on the table. I don't think they would hold. That would cause another type of panic if they felt like they needed to hold those rates. So any questions about that rate decision from the ECB today? Right. Is anybody able to check out a little bit of the press conference and hear what President Lagarde had to say? Nah, right? That stuff is on YouTube, right? So the ECB has its own channel, just like other central banks. So if you wanted to check that out. All right. So tomorrow, right? 10 a.m. Okay, could create some volatility on a Friday. We got the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment report coming out. What's the sentiment, right? When we take a look at the consumer, what's the overall sentiment and what's going on with the markets dealing with inflation, banks failing, everything else. So it'll be interesting to see how that report comes out. So we'll keep our eyes out for that tomorrow. So we have here that U.S. stocks regaining ground. We know that with Credit Suisse, right? Swiss National Bank came in 50 billion, right, to help support. And then we can see the stocks regain ground. Wall Street recovered from a sour open, with the Dow Jones rising almost 400 points and the S&P and the NASDAQ up 1.8%, 2.7%. Respectively. Lower yields supported tech shares, while a group of major, right, financial institutions, including Bank of America, JP Morgan, and Citi, has agreed to deposit $30 billion in the First Republic to stabilize it, right? So First Republic, another bank, California, I believe, bank that was, right, living on the edge, and big bank swooped in to stabilize it, right? So they've agreed to deposit $30 billion, right? It's amazing how we can seem to find the money for whatever we need to find the money for. So meanwhile, data show that banks borrowed a record $164.8 billion from two Fed backstop facilities in the week ended March 15th. All right, so a lot of people, you have some people out there, hey, get rid of the Federal Reserve and all that, but everybody plays their role in this society, right? So the economy continues to rock on. This is a little bit different than 2008 in the sense that your major banks, your JP Morgans, your Bank of America, your cities, you other major banks, right? They are way better positioned with cash on hand than they were in 2008 when everything went downhill. So market's a bit spooked. There's some concern out there, but I think overall, right, I don't think we're going to see that massive run on banks. So had a few, right, but I don't think it's going to be a 2008 situation. That's just my opinion. But any questions on that regarding the banks and the few bank situations that's out there? No. All right, so let's jump over, take a look at the DXY, right? And we can see we can come in here on the daily chart, and we see we're kind of just bouncing around, right? Not doing too much, a little back and forth. So hold on one second. Come here, look at the day, right? We got some bullish momentum, okay, from earlier today. And now we can see we're retesting that momentum. So still a back and forth nature, right? Nothing really trending quite yet, either up or to the downside, but we'll continue to watch it going into tomorrow. Again, the U of M Consumer Sentiment Report comes out at, what is that? 10 a.m. Okay, so we'll see if the dollar has a reaction to that data, or if there's any other Friday surprises like we had last week. So that's where we are on the dollar, right? It's pretty clear cut what the dollar is right now. Any questions? No? All right, so I just have a few pairs that I want to take a look at. And then after that, I'll definitely take requests as we close out the week, and take any questions that you all may have regarding any pairs. The first one I want to take a look at is this Aussie Swiss, right? So we've got the rally in the stock market, which played right into our technical analysis for the Aussie Swiss, and that pair finally made the reversal. And we were able to make the 80-20 play, but, right? So we still do have global demand concerns. I'm not quite sold yet on some type of reversal. So if we come out and we take a look at the daily chart on the Aussie Swiss, right? We are still positioned to the downside, right? We're still making overall lower lows and lower highs. So we've got a pretty nice correction back up above this monthly level at 61.61. But we'll see how long that wants to run. But I am now, right? So this move here, this play on the Aussie Swiss has pushed through the second take profit level. Has pushed through the second take profit level, right? So it's a beautiful swing off the 80-20, 2 TPs, okay? So look at that swing out of that zone, right? We had some drawdown, but, right, up over 100 pips to that second TP level. Now we're in the zone, right? So I want to continue to watch this to see if we stay, right? If we stay, we don't take out that A, then we look for this to just be a correction and then possibly turning over in our sell zone here, right? So that's something to watch out for as we close out the week and move into next week, right? So this is pushing pretty high in the zone. So here on the 1 hour, I have a trend line drawn to see if we get a break back below that 61.61 and that may end up being a good short. But just continuing to be patient, right, with this Aussie Swiss, because of everything that's going on with the Swiss National Bank, Credit Suisse, and that whole thing. Not quite sure how that's going to play out on the charts yet, but we are running into a high price here on a downtrending market. So just continue to keep an eye out on that Aussie Swiss as we close out the week and move into next week. Any questions on that one? Nope. Anybody ever to play the 80-20? Anybody ever to catch any pits off that swing? It's pretty nice setup. It ended up finally going in our direction. Missed it. It's all good. All right. It's always another setup just around the corner. Now, I want to go over and take a look at this Aussie yen. As we take a look at a similar scenario playing out, right? So we know from the daily, right, it's structured to the downside, but now we're getting that corrective action, okay? So you look at, hey, a down retracement zone. So let me zoom this out, okay? So this is our C to D push right now, okay? A, B, C, right? C to D push, we're getting a correction, right? We're getting a reaction to the upside. So if we come down here to the 1, we want to see, right? Similar to how this last move played out, right? A, B, C, right? Highest level within the AB boundary. And then we've got the C to D push, okay? So we look to ride that wave until it fails, okay? So we've got price pushing right back up into our sell zone. Right? So this is when, hey, if you're thinking bearish, okay, and this is just a correction to the upside, we got consolidation. I don't want to take that. So I'll draw it manually. Got price ranging right now. So, right, start to draw trend lines to the outside of that consolidation. Just start to prepare. Okay. See if price wants to push up higher and then reverse out. Start making those lower lows and lower highs. Okay. Let's see. Hey, does it want to ride further up into the zone? That's okay. Right. And then do we break structure? Start making lower lows and lower highs. So just wait for your confirmations, right? If you use the cloud or anything like that, however you play it, to get your confirmations, to get you comfortable taking a trade, then use it, right? And then once that high price is established, you can move your stop above the A. Because if it doesn't take out the A, right, has no choice but to go your way. And you draw yourself your risk to reward. Okay, you divide your risk by your stop, and you take your shot at the trade, right? If you're thinking continued bearish move, this is just the correction. Any questions on the Aussie yen? No. All right, so that's where we are. I want to take a look at the CAD yen. Okay. And oops, this back. But be patient with these, okay? Because the market's been all over the place. Right? So we don't know how long, right? We had a rally today in the market, which leads to, right? Oftentimes you see your commodities start to rally, and we see that, right, coming from the Australian dollar. Okay, that bullish move, right? This correction. So just be patient, right? The higher the price, the better. If you're looking to get short, if that's what you want to do. CAD yen. So take a look here at the weekly. right? So you can see it's bouncing around. We're indecisive right now for the week, okay? But we've been moving bearish, right? Last week was a bearish week. Okay, now the market's trying to make up its mind, taking in all the data, okay? But if we continue bearish, right, we come back and retest 94.61 potentially. So we have our fibs, so the market tells us otherwise, deployed in a downward direction, okay, to the downside. On this daily fib, we've got an 8.6 retracement. Market's taking back 86% of what it picked up to the downside here. This AB boundary, that's what that represents, that 0 to 100% move. And now we've got the correction. So we're stalling here, moving sideways. That's okay. But let's just continue to watch it down through the time frames. So here on the one, right, we're sitting in the zone. Just continue to be patient. That could be an opportunity for a continuation down. Right? My concern is to see, if we get a continued rally tomorrow, maybe it's a correction and we push up a little bit higher, right? If we do, that's fine, because, right, if we get price to push up 76%, right, around in that zone, and right, we move down, okay, 86, 78.6. We stall in that area and we start to move back down. That puts our extension right in line with that 94.61 weekly level. Okay, so let's just see how they play out. Paid off last time to the downside. Let's see if it wants to make one more run and one more push, one more drive, right, to retest that 94.61. All right, so let's just continue to be patient on that one. Any questions on the CAD yet? No? Okay. I want to take a look at this Euro CAD. Okay. Because we're sitting up here pretty high in the zone. Okay. So I'm wondering, right, if we'll possibly get some profit taking, not sure quite yet, right, with everything that's going on with the euro and the Canadian dollar, especially with that oil price. But we're sitting up here kind of high. Our stochastics in the sell zone. So we definitely have some momentum that can be ending, right, to the upside, which we see that here, right, with this move down. So you have right now an official swing high on a daily. Okay, so that's a daily level here. So as we close out the week and start thinking about, where the opportunities may be for next week, this becomes kind of interesting. Okay, because if we continue to get a move down, right, lower, so not quite ready, right, to call it long here, right? That's not my zone anyway. Right? What I want to see is if we can get another push down, right? Some more relief. Okay, some more relief. And then once it gets to this level, makes the determination to see if we start to get some higher highs and higher lows to the upside. If it wants to hold, not sure. Okay, we saw on the daily, right, that it definitely has room to move down, but I don't know. I don't know right now if we can get enough bearish momentum for a major push to the downside to take this A out on the 4. But we'll wait and see when it gets to these levels. Right? We'll deploy our trend lines. Right. To the downside. Wait to see what happens. Right? Use the clouds. You can do that too. Okay. And just let it ride until it gets into your sweet spot, and then start to evaluate things, right? Both fundamentally and technically, to see if they're ready for a continuation to the upside. Hey, maybe we don't, the euro pressure is so strong, maybe we don't get a deep retracement. Maybe it just settles down and it continues long, right? You have a double bottom here that has been riding the momentum to the upside from off this 236, right? So maybe we hold and we get that U-turn moving. Right? Then maybe we come right into a 127 zone. But that's a ways away. It's a Euro CAD there. So if we get that push, okay, that's over 300 pips, which would mean on this 4 hour, we're gonna go for a nice ride. Okay. But that's yet to be determined. And so just put that on your radar. Any questions on the Euro CAD?
Benny, if it
Yes.
hit that spot more than 3 times, can we start looking for it to reverse then? Or if it hold longer, that it'll just chase that the extension?
Which you talking about this level down here?
On the
This area here in the zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have it say, if it comes there and it holds again, right? You just have to look in the past. This is a level where price wants to hold at 142.43, 42.33 level. And then you just wait for positive signs for it to go back long again. Right? You know, the idea is for it on the daily chart to, you know, to move down and push deeper, right? But it may not be ready to do that yet. You know, so you can have a situation where you get range bound for whatever reason. It's just the fundamentals have kind of been all over the place. So you don't know. But if you get like, look how this pushed down, that's a strong bearish candle. We're on the daily chart, right? And it couldn't push through that 142.33 level. You know, so
the only reason why I asked is because like I know in communication, when they say one word over and over again, that's what they want to hammer down. And she kept saying data dependent. So it's like, is it technical versus fundamental? Or I mean, what when it's like that, when we dealing with data dependent, what more we be looking at, the technical or the fundamental?
Well, when it's data dependent, right? It's always still a combination of both, right? There's still certain key levels, right, where you just have buyers and people willing to buy, and then you have to make the determination of whether or not you're gonna get in with them at that level, or hey, I have certain sweet spots and zones that I like to trade, so I'm gonna wait. You know, but this is, you know, right now this is bullish, right? We know the oil price is down on the CAD. We know that Canada just held rates. They just held rates, right? As opposed to the ECB, they just hike rates. So you have, when it comes to the Euro CAD, right, you have to favor, you know, in the short medium term, right, bullish, right, when it comes to the Euro CAD. Okay, I'm taking the euro in regards to potential strength, but it still won't go up forever, right? The market has to correct itself to establish a new low price for people for folks to come in and buy, right? So sometimes at these levels, you just get profit taking that drives the market down, right? Creates the correction for a potential long. So, but this here, like you've got this level in this zone right here, okay? And you can see, right? See that previous high that it took out, and you see where it's sitting at right now? See that there? How, right, price, right? You get one more day, right? Friday close, you got another support level. Okay, so you got all types of stuff. You see that? If that ends up the established low, right? You got another support level here. Right now, stochastic is still moving to the downside, so maybe we come back and retest this level. Period.
Because it's projected to take away that engulfing candle.
Correct. So, you know, it's kind of a wait and see. But things are shaping up, right, on your 4 hour to where, man, if that makes one more drive, right, Lord, like here's that zone. So if we take this level that we just put in. Right. So here's the zone right here, right, that we're just talking about. Okay. And at the end of the day, right, you don't always, you may not always get that, right? We've seen that a lot, where the market fundamentals rule the day, at least in my opinion. Okay. So if that euro is strong and you've got a little bit of monetary policy divergence here now, 50 basis point hike from the ECB, data dependent, but probably more in the future, right? They got to play a little catch up. Inflation is too high and it's projected to stay high for too long. That's what she said. So meanwhile, you've got Canada, they just held the rates, right? I can't say that enough. So you've got some monetary divergence there that you may not see a wow, crazy correction. It might just, hey, this correction is deep enough and now we're just going to continue on, right? Which instead of put you in that 118, 127 zone, then you reevaluate things at that point, right? So it's a fascinating game that we play, right? We just figure out, hey, where's a high probability wave and we try to catch that wave. All right. So like I said, I would prefer, because from a risk to reward perspective, it puts me in a better position. What is that? 151.10. And where's that level? That's right up around this zone.
I guess
right?
I was trying to figure out how to play it if I'm playing conservative versus aggressive, because if I'm able to buy off support, if it's holding there for long, to have more of a confidence in my order on a smaller time frame. And I guess that's where I'm getting at. That's it. Because I think where I've been messing at is where I be thinking I can buy off support.
Yeah. Well, I mean, long as your risk management is intact.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Take the shot. If the criteria meets the trade plan, right? And I'm risking 1% or whatever you decide, 2%, and you're comfortable with that and you want to live with that. So if price pushes down into this zone and it holds, and hey, that's my sweet spot, I'm taking that trade. I'm gonna stick to the process. I'm gonna calculate my risk, right? So that's how you kind of emotions always come into play. You'll never be able to totally eliminate it. But one thing that's really helped me, right, over the years is, man, if this is my sweet spot play and things are holding, and I'm especially in this pair, like, well, the fundamental data supports the euro, then I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna live with it, right? But I'm gonna work that risk management out to where if it comes into my zone, all right, what's that, 245 pips? So, if you have, right, just for an example, right, you've got a $5,000 account, and say you're gonna risk 2%, right? Risk what? $100. Okay. And what is that? 200, call it 250 pips. Okay. So when it comes into that zone right there, what is that? Like 40 cents, something like that. 4 micros. And if it makes the U-turn, right, you're good, and you can add to that position. If it stops you out, I just lost 2%. And that's how I've always kept it as black and white as I can, because I already know my risk is already calculated before I ever jump into a position. And if I do the math and I'm not comfortable with that position, then I'm not going to take the trade. Or maybe I jump down to a lower time frame, and try to figure it out from there to make it work for me. But I'm not gonna try to, especially when I'm swing trading, I'm not gonna try to find the perfect entry, right? I'm gonna look for the entry that meets my rules. And if it ends up perfect, great. If not, then I know as long as it doesn't take out this edge, it's gonna eventually go my way. Right. So that's how I've just kind of gotten away from really overthinking things, because that stops you from pulling the trigger. And we know that it's never about just one particular trade. It's always about a series of trades over time. That's the only way you figure out how your edge plays out. So if it's coming down in the structure, and I've seen that it has higher structure, strong structure from the higher time frame, and this is my sweet spot on the 4, and I know that there's a possibility that, hey, momentum may pick up and take me to the 127 zone on the 80-20, that could be a solid game plan, right? That could be a solid game plan. So the key is just to watch, over the next few days to see what happens with the price action. Do we get that push down and retest? And especially if my stochastic on my daily ends up back in my buy zone, before it really makes any type of bullish move, if that's what it wants to do.
Okay, that's confirmation for me. That's
Yep.
confirmation for me. Okay, I got you, because
You know what I'm saying?
I've been
Go
stuck
ahead.
in it being I've been stuck in it being a lagging indicator. So it's
Mhm.
like, how much in my 5 minutes? And I know it's not about time. I know I got to get that out, and I have to switch that coordinated with the minute and a higher time frame as far as with time base. But it's like, how long should I stay in? Should I aim for that 50 to try to get that 100 for the week? And I think that's where the numbers is what worries me, because I'm comfortable with taking two independent 0.1. I don't know why, but when I put all of it on one trade, it worries me. So it's the numbers that gets me. So my apologies.
Yeah, it's all good. You got it. You got it. You got it. Sometimes it's always good to go back and just revisit, right? Revisit the basics and the fundamentals, right? Behind what we do. So it alleviates a lot of stress. So your risk is going to be figured out. Okay. So, on this idea, okay, it's like, all right, well, I know where I want to put my stop, right? And we know you have the option to put it below the C once that's established, right? And sometimes that's hard to gauge. So if I'm in my zone here, especially at that low level at that 61.8, then I've got a projected B extension. And then I'm just in for the ride. And you've been doing a great job, as of late, being patient and letting those trades run. Okay. And we know on the 4, if it runs and gets to this level and hits that extension, that we know that that's putting us up in that 118, 127 zone, a little bit beyond it anyway, right? So you're looking at whatever that is at that 61.8 in that zone somewhere, 240 or whatnot, and you're looking at, over 600 pips to the upside on that Eurocad. It's a big mover. So that's how we do it. All right. Do the same thing over and over and over again, no matter what the pair. Great job. Any other questions on the Eurocad? No. All righty. I want to take a look at this dollar CAD. Who knows which way the dollar is going to go? But get the Canadian dollar. Yes, got commodity currencies rallying as it was some little positive news in the stock market today. But overall, I'm still thinking I'm liking the dollar, right, over the long run. Okay. So I want to look at this 1 hour. And we got this drop. So we've already got a pull. We've got to pull back to not quite the 61.8, but we've got it nonetheless. And let's delete this. Okay. So what I've just been watching is this sub-fib as it corrects. So now it's retesting this 137.08, which is a monthly level, okay, in that zone. So what I'm watching for is to see if it wants to hold. And we eventually get a reversal. Now, that the consumer sentiment report tomorrow at 10 a.m. could be a catalyst for it, moving either way, to be quite honest. But right now, this is how I have it. So we've got a nice correction to the downside, okay? Now it's just a matter of we've got a reversal and we've got a pullback. So I just want to see if it holds within the sub fib and see if we can get a reversal to the upside on the dollar CAD. Okay. So let me put the cloud on and see what this is looking like. It should be sitting below the cloud. Right now. Yep. So you can see we broke and then we did right back below. So it's just a matter, put the sub fib on because I want to see if we can make the U-turn. Okay. Instead of the trend line, we can use the cloud to see, right, if it wants to hold in these zones and then reverse back out and get long. So that's my thought process. All right. Okay. If it wants to push deeper, it's going to take out the A, right? But that's okay, because I won't be in that trade anyway unless I get confirmation to the upside. I want to see higher highs and higher lows and a break back above the cloud before I take a shot on that position. Any questions on the dollar CAD? The game is simple, right? You look to ride the waves until they fail. Okay. Takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. All right. So those are the pairs. I don't think. Look at I'm not in any. No, I'm not in anything right now. No. So I had a decent week. So creeping closer to that target. That what is it? I think it's like 1,400 or something like that on this Fivers account. Yeah, I think it's that for instant funding live accounts. But we're creeping close. I'm not at anything right now. I'm flat. It's been a crazy week. So not in anything at this moment. And so I am going to open it up, right, for the last little bit of time that we have tonight and see if anybody has any pairs that they want to take a look at that they might be in. So if you have any pairs, put them in the chat and we can take a look at them before we close out. Oh.
Hi, on USD CAD, I
Mhm.
was watching it earlier, and we did have a break above the cloud.
Yep.
And we had that twist for the upside. It never changed. So I'm in a buy.
You're in a long? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking long too. It's been a weird one. It's been a weird one. So I haven't, hold on, my screen's jumping all over the place. So I haven't gotten in on it yet. But I just, maybe it makes a deeper correction, but I think that, over the long term, the way things are, especially if the sentiment continues to be, a lot of people are concerned with what's going on with the banks, even though it was a positive sign that the bigger banks came in today and, and bailed them out. If people still have those concerns, I find it hard to believe that they're not going to use the dollar as a safe haven, which would give continued bullish momentum to the dollar. But we'll see. I mean, everybody's expecting 25 basis points for the Fed. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider, but right now I'm just, 25 basis points is a hike nonetheless, where it's Canada held, rates. Oil prices haven't, at least today, I don't think, with oil.
Okay. I was thinking I can go down to like the 5-minute and see, if it's still making those lower lows, and then probably hop out. But I guess
Yeah. If you have your doubts, sometimes it's best just to close them out. If you don't want to stick to your risk management plan for that trade idea, that's fine. So it 1%. We'll see if that
not I
didn't,
guess.
it didn't move much. So we'll see. The dollar CAD could be a tough one to trade. It could be a tough one to trade, but we'll see how it holds up. Yeah, you can go down to the lower time frame and monitor it. I like that idea for sure. Where'd you enter? You know where you enter?
Hold on. 37609.
37609.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's really hard.
137. 6. Okay. Oh, I see where you did today. Okay. I see it. It's high. But just I like that idea of going out to the lower time frame and continuing to monitor it, right? Your momentum is slowed on the 1,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're
Yeah.
back into the buy zone.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think eventually it'll recover and pick that back up, to the positive. But depending on what your risk is and how far in drawdown you are in regards to the amount.
Yeah, not much. I'm like 0.02, so it's not
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah. So you're good. So just continue to watch it,
Okay.
and then just see, hey, if it may establish a new low price and give you some good positive bullish momentum, and see if you want to pick something up there at a new established low price.
Right.
So your risk management's on point. So you got some options there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Yep. JC, I can go back and take a look at the AJ. Okay. Yeah. So we're kind of neutral. Right. We found some support on the daily at the B boundary, right, in that zone. So it's causing that correction stochastics on the buy zone in the daily. Right. So it's just a matter right now of how much that market wants to rally, right? Is that rally in the market because of the positive bank news, in regards to the bailout, is going to be sustainable. So right now, this is what it looks like on the 1. All right. So just watching it, see how far it wants to drive up in the zone. Okay. So I just don't know how long that rally is gonna continue to the upside. I still think it's in a correction mode. Right. So it may give us an opportunity for a pretty good high price, but we'll continue to watch it. Yep. Let's take a look. We'll take a look at the Aussie dollar. Right. So this one here, okay, in that rally, right? So this could push higher tomorrow. Let's see what happens with this sentiment report. So on the Aussie dollar, this move to the downside, we've never gotten a 382. Right. So let's continue to watch and see what happens with the data that comes out tomorrow. See if we can get some fireworks on a Friday, but we're still holding in the zone. Right. So when you look at the Aussie dollar pair, depending on what the dollar does, right, how it wants to react, we know it's bouncing around. The idea is for that to move higher, right? Whether you're looking to buy that 80-20, right, in the zone, or you're looking to sell, you don't want to sell here. You want to sell it here if you can get it to move. So either way, you need that momentum to move to the upside for a solid high price to short, or if you're long, right? So it's finally coming back out. It keeps testing this area here, right? Now it's reversing out. You're welcome. Any other pairs before we wrap things up? It's been a wild week. It's been an exhausting week, to be honest. So much going on. But it was a pretty good. Had a bull bias here. Yeah. I can roll with you on that momentum. I mean, we want to see it correct to a high price, so we need buyers, right, to push it there. Okay.
Once we had that drop off today, it's just like nothing is like kind of correcting fast enough.
It's just I know that's the one thing. It's just like, I we don't care whether it goes up or down. We just want movement, right? But when you get the crazy impulsive moves, it's like it could lead to just a couple of days of just stagnation. And everybody's trying to wrap their heads around all the data and what's going on globally, and it just creates a pause in the market, and that's no fun. So you kind of just have to wait and see, and then everything tends to get tied up when that dollar starts bouncing around in ranges. Right? We've seen that over and over again. Like, man, when that dollar doesn't trend, sometimes it could jam everything up. So the DXY. All right, so we'll see. I mean, it's just been a lot. You know, it was pretty much all bets were on for just a week ago or so. All bets were on for 50 basis points coming out of the Fed, and everybody was mad, right? That's just like 50 basis points, you know. And it looks like the Fed was spot on with no pauses, no rate cuts for the year, even though the market was arguing to the contrary. But now you can see where it's just shifted, right? Like, man, well, maybe they will end up pausing, you know. But we'll see. We'll see, because again, the main mandate for the central bank is price stability, and they're nowhere near 2%. I mean, you heard Lagarde giving a forecast. I think they were, I might be wrong, but I think it was like getting it finally down to 2.5%. What was it, 2025 or something like that? Like to like 2.5. It was a lot. It's gonna take time to get that inflation genie back in the bottle. So that, you know, they're not gonna take the focus off of that. You know, so all right. Well, there's no more pairs. That is gonna be it for this Thursday evening, everybody. We will be back, right? 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday, for the Forex Weekly Ritual. That's where we set ourselves up for success for the upcoming week. That being said, have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Right,
Good night. You're welcome.